And I'm just going to say hi, Christina, and welcome to your showcase blab for the Healing Club and the Spiritual Entrepreneur Resource Group. I'm Sarah Ann Negus, you know that, but just in case anybody out there doesn't, I am the Healer's Healer and a modern day shaman. I host the Healing Club, which is a Facebook group, and co-host the Spiritual Entrepreneur Resource Group. Now, these groups on Facebook are kind of a little bit different in that we really do advocate collaboration and non-competition, in that we're all out there shaking our entrepreneur arse, if you like, and we need to help each other. And as we help each other, we will grow. And that's the idea of these showcases. So Christina is a member on both groups. And she's a holistic business coach and spiritual guide. And I'd like to just hand over here and let her tell us who she is.
Yes. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for putting us together. I really do. Are you getting feedback? Because I am.
No, I'm not.
You're not. Okay, great. Okay, that must have been momentary because it stops now. Okay. Yeah, I really do feel like exactly what you're saying. It is in furthering what we're trying to all do individually in the world, that has that become more tangible, more real, more rippled and out there in the world, when we really do collaborate and kind of come together and get like our commitment is more than just earning a living. It's really having everyone live in their fullest potential.
Yes.
So thank you for putting these together. And so, yeah, my name is Christina, Christina Moore. And when I got married, I added my husband's name onto the end. Yeah, I really didn't want to take my name away. I just was like, oh, I want it. I want to keep it. And yeah, it really had been who I guess identified for as a long time. And, you know, a name is just a name. So it's whatever you make it, right? You create it how you want it to be. So yeah, that's my name. And I'm from, so my parents are originally from Nigeria and in West Africa. And as you can tell, the accent isn't Nigerian. It's actually a British accent. I'm from London and I now live in New York. And so I'm, fresh New Yorker and absolutely infatuated with this place. It's amazing. And yes, so I have always loved business. I had such a special place in my heart for business when I was growing up. I think I was about 12 years old when I really realized that my mother was an entrepreneur. I just thought she just did a lot of different things, like a hustler, but she owned a boutique and she had her hairdressers. And so when I went off to university, I also took up hairdressing. I went to university in Colchester and I studied law there. And there were no Black Afro-Caribbean hairdressers for miles. And so I had that skill and I had that passion. So I really took it on and just really got that vivaciousness for creating, like really using my creative side. You know, on the one hand, I was doing the analytical law, and on the other, like by night, I was this, you know, hairdresser come alive and just creative and creating lots of different styles. And that really started my passion for business. And so that's what I went on to do. I created lots of different businesses. And now I'm aligning that great, you know, purpose and passion into having business transform the world, like having women show up at the forefront of what it is to transform the world through business. And I'm using everything that I've learned and built up over all those years to help my clients create that, like really guide them through what that looks like and having them discover it for themselves.
Wow.
So that's who I am, yeah. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention, I also have a little girl. She's nearly 3 years old and she's just the cutest. And I just,
she is adorable.
Every
How
time
can you forget her?
No, yeah, I can't forget her. Yeah.
So, Christina, we met online, didn't we?
We did. Mm.
Yeah, only in September. But out of all of the showcases, you are one of the lovely ladies that I know best. But I don't know what inspired you to become an online entrepreneur.
Mm. Yeah, see, there's a thing about being an online entrepreneur, totally. You know, it's so different from having a storefront or being, you know, any other type of entrepreneur. I think the internet really has hit a space of wonder. Like everyone is just in wonder. And it's so great because we all get to live in a more hyper connected world. Like we really feel that energy transfer from each other, and we're really that connected. Like we can talk now because we're in two different countries, but we can still create this connection and broaden it so it's not just, you know, our little communities where we live, but the whole world becomes our community.
Yes.
And so, you know, that's why it's really important for me to, you know, have a presence online. It is the way that I get to really share myself, you know, share myself with the whole world and share what it is that I can do for others. So yeah, the internet, it's such a beautiful place, so great. And maintaining a business online as well means that you really are, there's so many things available to be able to, you know, have a business that's online. You know, when I had my first business was in my front room, and the way I connected with people was that, you know, I just put posters up on my university notice board, and this just takes it to a whole nother level. You know, having a business,
yes,
this takes it to a whole different level. Yeah, I think you must have experienced that as well, because yours is.
Yes, it is. Although it didn't. I mean, I've only been an online entrepreneur since May. Before that, I have a clinic at home, you know, and I feel a little bit like a hobbit in a hole here because I'm in the country. I'm outside of London. But when you step onto, and our forum at the moment is Facebook. When you step onto Facebook,
yes,
the possibilities seem limitless, although it is a small place as well. Kind of find the people that move towards you quite quickly, I find. Have you had that experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I just think it's wonderful to be able to connect with people on that level, like really have that intimate relationship with people and not have to, you know, physically be there.
Yeah.
It gives you a whole nother level of connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So usually I don't know the people that I'm interviewing very well, but we've worked together for the last 3 months, so we've spent quite a lot of time in each other's company. But imagine, Christina, that you don't know me.
Yes.
And I've just kind of stepped into your awareness, and tell me how you, in your business, would help me. I know you gave us a brief introduction, but...
Yeah. Okay. So I'm many things, right? I do so many different things, you know. I'm a coach, a healer, I'm a mentor, I'm an intuitive guide, I'm a womb warrior, I'm a yogini, I'm all of these things encompassed into one. But, you know, the mind works in funny ways. It's very, you know, you have to know specifically, okay, so what is it that you do? And how I describe myself really for people is that I'm a business coach. I'm a business coach and I help women. I'm so passionate about being in business. I'm someone that creates continuously, and that really fulfills who I am as a person. And I'm very passionate about women.
I can see.
Just so enlivened by, women discovering and living into their greatest selves and their purpose. It's so fun for me. So, I really put emphasis on the discovery because I feel that discovery is the biggest impact that you can have on anybody else. So, as a coach, I really take that step back and have people guide people into a discovery of, who they really are and how they create who they are.
That's
to have
magic.
The biggest
that's absolute magic. Well, that moment when they do step back and go, "Oh, look at me," is priceless. If you can give that to somebody, and they can go away and run with it, you've given them something that is going to change their whole life.
Yeah, it's the biggest gem you can ever give to anybody. It's the shiniest, most extraordinary, phenomenal gift, because we spend so much time looking outside of ourselves for answers, and we're like, what do I want to do with my life? Or maybe it's over here, or maybe the answer's here, and will I figure it out this way? And we don't realize that the answers are there. They're buried so deep within us that we just need the right questions to be asked.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I aim to do as a guide, to ask those questions that really draw out what it is that's already there within you.
Right.
And once you get that and you get a true sense of who you are, it moves you into action, and you're just so drawn to, yes, this is me. And because you discover it yourself, like nobody's telling you. If someone goes and tells you, oh yeah, Sarah, you're supposed to be a shaman and intuitive guide, it's not the same as you really discovering, like, that's who I am. That's who I get to create.
The funny thing is, Christina, someone did tell me that.
Right, okay, but was that person?
It was only when I found what you're talking about that it actually came. So that discovery for me, I hear you. I understand completely what you're talking about, and I love it.
Yeah, phenomenal. I love that. Yeah. So that's the best thing for me when I have a client who is, in that space of discovery, and lots of different discovery moments are there. It's just so fun. And that's the person that goes out and has the biggest impact, because they've committed to discovering something. They actually do the work and they discover it. And, she goes out into the world and she has ripple effects on, everybody around her.
Okay.
And that's how we transform the way the world looks,
And that backs up in you in the fact that you've got all those years of entrepreneurship and your legal background.
Yeah.
To support somebody as they discover themselves. You have strategies and plans.
Yes, I do. So I mean, when I work with my clients, I do a lot of pre-work.
Okay.
We do lots of pre-work, and then we do a very intensive day. And the intensive day really is to open up that space of discovery.
Right.
When you're really embedded in the space of commitment, and, you have someone holding that space for you to really pull for the success that you are. Then you don't have any kind of, life happens and circumstances happen. And so I find doing that work on a gradual basis doesn't always work for everyone. So having it be kind of intensive, you're there, you're in that moment, and it's a commitment to create something in that time.
Right.
And then I work with those people on a more extensive basis after that, so that anything that does show up in life for them, because again, you go back into your life and your life looks the same. You haven't started to create the results that you want yet. And so we work gradually then to whatever shows up, whether it's mindset, whether it's, issues with their body, whether it's anything that we need to tap into spiritually. I'm really there to guide them through that process, and they get to be accountable to someone. That's something people don't have. No one gets to be, and that's, you know, that's a world that I want my daughter to grow up in. I want her to be in a world that she puts her mind to something, and she really has that accountability with, you know, her peers, and, you know, that's the kind of world that I want that to kind of be the new normal, not just something that a select few people do. Like, it's
I feel it's coming, you know, particularly last year, I felt everything was really accelerating, and there were very more people showing up and emerging into a spiritual life. And I don't know how you feel about that, Christina. I feel that things are moving forwards quicker, and there's many more people stepping up.
Yes. I feel it all the time, and I feel it when I go out in life, and I'm now less surprised by the power of the universe, because people come into my life I don't think it's just by the intention that I'm putting out there. I really feel like the universe brings certain things your way. So yeah, the vibration of the earth is lifting. There is such a hunger in people for what they don't yet know, but that's exactly what it is that they're discovering. So, you know, there's a hunger for more. There's got to be more to this life. There's got to be more to, you know, just doing the daily grind. And, you know, what more is there that people can create for themselves? So you're totally right. Yeah, it's exciting to be a part of that, to be in that time.
I know. I mean, I'm sure we're all in exactly where we should be.
Yeah.
It gives me great hope for everything. I have a 20-year-old son. My son's a little bit further on than your daughter, but I have hope for the generations coming underneath us.
Right? Yes, totally. They've got this handled. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked earlier about how you felt the universe sent you things. Sent things your way. And I wonder how many, or is there one particular moment in your life, epiphany, if you like, aha moment, that made you step out of the life that you were in to emerge, if you like, into sort of being a spiritual guide, using your business acumen to help women?
Yeah. There have been, personal aha moments. I have had several that have been deeply impactful on my being, like who I am and who I create myself to be. In terms of how I use that with my clients, so I mean, one in particular, there's two major ones I can think of, but I'll focus on just one. And one of the aha moments really revolves around self-love and what that really is.
Gosh, how long have you got? We've only got 10 minutes left here.
So that's something that I really just, it's a foundation. It's a foundation. When I'm working with my clients, and excuse me, picked up a cold recently. So when I'm working with my clients, I am very adamant that we explore that area. You know, there's so many layers to self-love. And so having that as a foundation really creates who you are in the world, because without that, you don't get to show up as powerful. You don't get to show up as your full greatness. You don't get to show up in your fullest potential. You are just almost, you know, walking around as a shell, like this. There's something there bubbling that doesn't get to rise to the surface, and that really is that self-love, that just compassion for yourself, the forgiveness of yourself, really living into your future, as opposed to having, you know, just really bringing that past into your future. Like everyone does it.
Everyone does it.
Everyone. That's what it is to be human.
I know not to.
Because you have that awareness of it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have that, and that's the gift that everybody can get to have, that full awareness of what it is to really love their self.
Yeah.
You know, you hear so many things and you read so many books. It's important to love yourself. And even as I'm saying it now, intellectually, we can get that. Like, yeah, it's really important to love yourself, because who's going to love you unless you love yourself, and you can't be your greatest self. But that's very intellectual. There's a difference between understanding it and experiencing it. And that's what I really bring to my clients, because that makes the world of a difference then to who you become in life.
Yeah. I think I look at it as existing.
Mm.
And if you don't find that feeling of love in your own heart for your own self, all of it, you're walking around in that shell that you just talked about. You're not actually experiencing energy in your emotional life, because you can't, because you haven't actually got the basis that you talk about. If you haven't got the basis of self-love, you can't experience any of the other energies fully.
Totally.
I love that. I love it.
Totally. It's just as you say, it's either you're living or you're alive.
Yeah.
And you know, the other energies are very we come by easily, being human beings. You know, you come by the energy of the carnal energies, and it's just what it is to be a human being, you know. And a lot of the time you can bring yourself back to that being grounded. But the energy of love and compassion, those are things that you have to cultivate. Yeah, that, you know, they're muscles that you have to work, and they're not always easy to work.
You can't fake them.
You really can't. Yeah. So yeah, it's so extraordinary. It's such a freedom that comes with it, and you know, a real peace of mind to really be living in your authentic self.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Elizabeth Green, hi. Thank you for commenting. You're right. Lots of people just exist and don't realise they can enjoy life. And I think that's what you're talking about, is once you step into your own self-love, enjoying life becomes something that's a habit, not something that you're reaching for all the time. It is just there in you, you know, bubbling. There's that word again.
Yeah. Thank you, Elizabeth, for that. I'm glad that resonates with you, because that's the way to do it if you want to enjoy your life in every area of your life.
So, bearing in mind that you are working spiritually with your clients, I believe to maintain a healthy professional status when you work with energy like that is really important. It's something that I actually advocate and teach. And we've worked together, so I know that you know my way of doing it, because it was part of our program together. How do you do it when you're actually in the moment?
So with my clients, how I create that
sacred space.
Okay, yeah. So I really believe that creating expectations at the outset is really important. And so there are a couple of things I put in place. Like I have some what I call ground rules.
Okay.
So a couple of them, for example, would really be, you know, I hold you accountable. You know, I really do hold you accountable. You know, the way I am with my clients is really, I really come from a loving space with clients. Back in the 70s and the 80s, it really worked to, knuckle down. You got to get this done. It's this time I haven't done this. But for me, it really works in a spiritual sense, to hold you accountable, like who you are in the world doesn't need to be told what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do. And when you're not doing it, having someone hold you to account is going to have you be more effective, especially when you are putting value on the table to have that be delivered, to have those results be delivered. Like, if there's something in it for you and you have to, so not only are you going to get the results, but also you've actually had to put in some value in money terms to have those results delivered, you really get to experience me as someone that holds you accountable to what it is that you want to have delivered.
Okay.
And yeah, I just really hold space for people to be who they are. Like, really have that, nothing is ever the wrong way to be, with a client. So, some of my clients show up in there, in the beginning, let's do this, I'm so ready. That's the energy that I like to bring to the table. And, that's a very intensive energy. And sometimes that energy can't be maintained.
No.
And there's a lesson in that. There's a lesson in those people that are high energy in the beginning and then kind of wane off, or, create circumstances that then their life shows up and it stops them.
Yeah.
It's the resistance to being, held accountable sometimes that has you get something about yourself.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't get if you weren't being coached.
Yeah.
If you're just going about life and there's no one there to guide you, you don't get to see a way that you're being in your life, in everything. So if you're being a certain way in your business, it's very likely, for example, if you're being someone that gets stopped easily by things or takes things personally, you're very likely being that way elsewhere, in your relationships, in your finances, in your, like, any area of life, you're likely to be that way. So it's just perfect the way people show up. I don't have people be any particular way, but I do have a few set of things that, I make sure people are aware of when we get started.
How about your vision for the future?
My vision for the future.
Yeah, where do you see your particular brand of Christina Moore going in the future? I see big things for you, darling. So
that's fabulous. I do too. I really do too. And big for me looks like, this community, this hub of free thinkers, free flowers, people that are really ready to take on themselves.
That's quite a big task for people, yeah.
It's like people, we think it's the world out there that we need to take on. But there's so much stuff to take on here. Like, people that are ready to do that, to pull for each other's success. And I really feel creating this in pocket. There's so many things that, I want to create specifically for women and children. That's where my passion lays. Women and children across the world that get to live into their fullest potential, like really discover what that is and start and grow and grow and grow and grow, and to have mentors there available for them that have done this, that get to guide them and get to support them and get to encourage them. That's what I want to create. I want to create something ultimately that is, a collection of women that have this as their mission. Like, nothing stops them. How they wake up in the morning doesn't stop them. you know, that they don't have everything that they need in their day doesn't stop them. You know, any like of the usual circumstances, the train's not working, anything like that. Like, we're so unstoppable, so invincible, so committed to, you know, a goal. You know, I heard once that this phrase, things in the world, and I might completely like disseminate this. Just that the essence of it is that things in the world, anything great in the world that has ever been achieved has been because of a group, a small group of committed people.
Yeah.
Like that, literally, a small group of committed people creates massive change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really that people that are really committed to creating a world where love rules. It sounds so cliche, but it, you know, it's
not at all. I think what I hear from you, do correct me if I'm wrong, is that you are envisioning a place where a group of committed women are holding the space to encourage younger souls, younger people to find themselves.
Yes.
Without culture, without dogma, without the shoulds, without the coulds, so that they can expand them their own way without having all the layers of what your mum wants you to do, what your dad wants you to do, what your friend wants you to do.
What your religion wants you to do, what your culture wants you to look like. You know, you should be a certain way because you're a woman, or you should be a certain way because you're a man. All of those things that we have, because they have been created by human beings. We created them. We can just as easily uncreate them or just create something new.
Yeah.
Like, what really does it look like? We get to create that.
Yeah. I think these things were all created at the time for safety, but as with everything that comes in for safety, it limits human beings from actually becoming more than someone tells them they can be. I love I love what that vision that you can see coming in the future, and I don't think it's that far away. I hope
no, it's not. It totally is not. And yeah, that's it's going to be wonderful when it does happen, and it's going to be many people creating that same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know what happens, like, you know, after that, but we'll just all be blissed out, I suppose.
Wouldn't it be lovely? My goodness me.
We'll all be laying on beaches, or I don't know, some people like snow, maybe snow.
I don't like snow. I won't like snow.
Yeah.
No. Okay, Christina.
It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much for spending the time and having actually really, I can tell you've really thought about what it was that you wanted to say here and to convey to anybody that was listening to us. So I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for holding that space for me.
Thanks for everyone who was listening.
Yeah, and all the questions as well. That's really great. All comments. Yeah. So
I am going to stop the recording.
Okay.